And there was a time I was here. I said, I'm not a security expert, but it's simple common sense. There's one young man called Nnamdi Kanu. You can quantify him. You know where he is. You're keeping him. The bandits you cannot quantify. The Boko Haram, you don't quantify them. I don't know where they are. I don't know where they're coming from. But I believe most of them are Nigerians. Have we made any effort in terms of dialogue? If these people are Nigerians, what are our traditional rulers doing to relate to these people? What are their problems? Because you see that every conflict is about unresolved grievance. In all situations, there's something worrying somebody somewhere that he's protesting about. And in a country where more than 100 million people are now, they are so poor that the Senate president is doing a 61-year birthday, closes a stadium in Uyo, and you don't want young people to kidnap other people. And it is sad because I believe Tinubu is very competent with a lot of experience, that he needed no advice from anybody. But the problem is that he cannot sit down one place to think anymore. He was in Owerri, and his wife was here addressing the kidnap of a man and his 6 daughters. I think 1 or 2 have been killed now. The wife, first lady, was addressing the country on behalf of her husband, who was in Owerri, having fun at the inauguration of what? This is a crisis in the country today. You know, people have a reflective instinct towards self-preservation. And I used to say that when you combine this political ignorance that you see all over the place, you think they are politicians, they're ignorant. When you combine it with unyielding arrogance, you have political blindness. That is what is happening all 36 states. Somebody is a governor sitting on a table looking at 3, 4, 5, 10 billion. That's what he's disbursing. He doesn't think about anything else. And they're not interested. They are not interested. And you don't want young men and women, you know, not to enter the business of kidnapping, where they get easy money. Bad as it is. But what do you want them to do? What is the excuse for having a bad day at 61 and closing a stadium? What is the excuse for that? In the country, you tell people to tighten their belts, and they have no belt anymore to tighten, no stomach to tighten with any belt, and they watch a stadium closed down for somebody to do a 61 bad day. For what achievement? For what contribution to the Federal Republic of Nigeria? The number increased. And those who do it, they don't go to school. They don't go to school. Every state has its own negative peculiarity. But for a president of Senate, under the situation Nigeria is passing, he's the greatest offender. To close down a stadium with the first lady of Nigeria sitting down there. Do you see the shame a few days ago? They were launching a book on Buhari, who put Nigeria 20, 30 years behind. Launching a book. Gowon was there. And the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was there praising him. I was just listening to the discussions people were having at the press review with Pantani and all those stuff. Tell me what has gotten better since APC took over. In the next couple of months, I'll be leaving partisan politics just to become an advisor for whomsoever wants to. Because what I see in the field, why would there be no complicity? Each time I travel, and I drive myself most of the time, I have a tendency of trying to give police people, army people on the road, especially in Anambra, that I'm in the southeast that is occupied. I give them money, and you see the relaxation, in their looks, how happy they get. And I ask them, why are you here? Why can't you people clear these bandits, whomsoever they are? He said, okay, in this convoy you are looking at, you will see about legislators, governors, people who have no business address, carrying not less than 7, 8, 10 mobile police. You will see them so fat. Some of them are being paid, apart from their salary, 3,000, 4,000 naira every day. And so you want us to go and die? You want us to go and die for Nigeria? When something happens to us, in 24 hours they will remove our families from the various police barracks. These are people, God's supposed to be guarding you and I. And you see the grievance behind them. Is anybody thinking? When the new IG came, he said he would be relying on something. The same Nigerian police. So my worry, in summary, about Nigerian security, we have to recalibrate. The president has to tell himself the truth. I think people are now making money, both the military, everybody. It's now good business. Nigerian insecurity is now good business. That's what is authority. The authority to supervise me, to coerce me. It's regimented formality because things happen the same way. You come to work, you see policemen follow you. They are regimented to do it. You see army people follow you. There are processes in government that are regimented and they become formal. So also the security services should have formalities in the way they perform. But nobody. Just like Joy Ezilo said, you just read out. When we have lost values, what are our values anymore? We have no value for life. We'll betray a country that has no value for life. That is why people are being killed all over the place. Any day you don't have on your news how many people kidnapped, how many people killed, then it's an exception to the rule. That is now the rule, that people must be dying every day. Plateau, Southern Kaduna, here, in Olu, Ihala area. He was a legislator, he was a state governor, he's now president of Nigeria. So there's nothing about leadership that will be Greek to him. First lady, a senator, or was a senator. Vice president, 8 years governor, senator. Chief of staff, speaker. Tell me who has a better credential that they cannot sit down and start applying some form of solution from the experiences they have gathered over the years. I should be able, if I'm sitting down with the service chiefs, if they tell any lie, I can see through it. I was a Biafran army officer. When you tell a lie, I can see through it, unless you are complicit. How do we start? About just before you came back on board, I have seen Nnamdi Kanu 2 times with the DSS. Currently one of the most brilliant, well-spoken young men this country has ever produced. One of the well-spoken, brilliant young men this country has ever produced. What's his problem? Talking about justice. And I asked President Tinubu, why don't you take one risk? Bring out Nnamdi Kanu. Look at the judgment of the Supreme Court on him. Almost 99%. The Supreme Court of Nigeria condemned the Federal Republic of Nigeria about all they did against Nnamdi Kanu. But said because the appeal court said the lower court had no jurisdiction, that they should go back for trial. They didn't condemn him for doing anything. His problem was justice for his people. And I asked the president, why don't you start somewhere? That's why I said Nnamdi Kanu is an identifiable quantity. Grant him, the appeal court had released him already. Grant him freedom, keep him in one place, and see whether 90% of the problem in the Southeast will not. The same Supreme Court said that his family compound was attacked and more than 27 people were killed and he escaped. Supreme Court of Nigeria said it. Didn't you listen to the judgment? He was running for his life. They attacked his father's compound and he escaped. That's why he left. So what I'm saying is that let us start somewhere with some experimentation. Now the government is holding him. Let's take a risk. I'm prepared to guarantee that risk the government will take because I discussed with him and I float on the same level with him. You may not like his methodology, but he has a lot of common sense. Is Nnamdi Kanu responsible for what is happening in Plateau? With the bandits, with Boko Haram? It's everywhere. Is he responsible for the explosion in Ibadan? Everywhere. So why can't we start? Igbos have a saying, if you have a lot of enemies surrounding you, you buy drinks for some. So that they are drinking, you face some others. When you finish with them, you come back to those who are drinking. You cannot face all enemies at the same time. That is what this country is pretending to do. Because what started as protests in the Southeast is all over the country now. Because they will tell you we're on top of it. I called emergency meeting of all the security agents. We have been hearing this in Buhari. And what has changed? And we are still Nigerians, all Nigerians. I believe there must be something fundamental in the problems in this country that we can address. Dialogue. There will be no peace without dialogue. Give and take, no matter what it is. Somebody you're calling a bandit is somebody's son, is somebody's daughter. We can approach if there is no complicity. If there's no complicity at a very high level, it's not an impossible thing to sort out. But let us start somewhere. Let's use the Southeast as an example. bring this young man out, keep him somewhere, and I'll tell